Now, if you've been on YouTube, you've failed at a few things, and let me tell you right now how YouTube failure led to 3.1 million subscribers and a whole lot of YouTube success. And I want to start kind of in the beginning of your journey here on YouTube. You were living in Hawaii, and Jace had this great idea because he had a company.
Jace has a lot of great ideas.
I had my brand new business, a skateboard company. I had a YouTube video. I got this partner program. That is when I noticed I could get paid for making videos. All of a sudden, sales started coming into my website because I was using YouTube to market my skateboards. So I took the YouTube numbers and the success there, and that got my board company into Costco. And I used YouTube to legitimize the brand to the kids, and Costco to legitimize the brand to the parents.
How did that translate down to your family? Because you had a young family.
Yeah, I ended up talking to Rachel, my wife, and I said, honey, there's this thing called vlogs. People can actually make money by filming their daily life. You should do this.
I blogged for 10 years, and it was more of just a family record. And because I had never seen it done before, I wasn't a watcher. I didn't know how it was done. I didn't understand that concept. So it took a little while.
Starting another channel, getting monetized, and getting your first 100 subscribers.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
This is the most awkward thing ever. I was home with my I think she was 3-year-old still. And it was just us. No one was in the house, and I'm actively watching my subscriber count.
Friends, we got 100 subscribers. Woo! We're gonna have a dance party.
The first 100 is hard. It's a struggle. And I was so excited. It felt just as good as our million.
After that, the next month is when we met. And I was actually presenting at a YouTuber meetup. Every year I kind of give kind of like the state of the union of YouTube and the algorithm and so on. And I vividly remember being introduced to your wife. I remember having a conversation and she's like, I just want to break out. Like, what do we need to do to break out? And I'm like, well, why do you want to do family vlogging? And she actually said something next that made me reflect. She said, you know, I saw these families having fun, but also influencing other people of what family could be. Why shouldn't we be that next family? I think that was that moment, I think that defining moment of not giving up, that she was gonna double down. Because you guys had some failure up to that point.
Yeah.
Where did you get inspiration to look to?
These meetups were one of those ways that helped me because I got to meet other YouTubers that were in my space. I saw what was working with them. I just kind of figured, oh wow, if they got a lot of views on this video, I tried to analyze a little bit and go to YouTube and see what was working for other people that were similar to me.
Yeah.
And finally, she started. It took 9 months for our channel to get any views. And then things changed. She had the great idea, not me, that these how-to parent/teen, how to teach your daughter to shave her legs. That video actually started going on its own. First time ever, it was getting views without us texting our friends to please watch this link.
So when the shaving the legs popped, we went, oh, we are that family. We're that family that talks to our kids, teaches them how to do stuff, and we went towards that content.
And then we started seeing the monetization go up. And I said, honey, you know what? I think I can be done here if you do this, and then we can be a family that does this. And we had all these great ideas. We did family vlog. We did the uh-oh family vlogs. Anytime a kid bonked their head, bam, camera. Like that ended up leading to us being fully demonetized, our channel being toast. So I had resigned from my company and then we lost our channel.
No money, totally demonetized. All the black, not even yellow symbols. It was horrible.
So our channel 2 weeks ago was demonetized. Not even gonna get the money we had made in November. So now Christmas is here. All the bills, end of year, taxes, everything's coming.
YouTube was my baby. I started it out and Jace would give us tips and he would help along the way. And when they demonetized me, I was like, no, I'm gonna fight until I get this thing back. I think I gave myself a deadline, and if we didn't get it back by then, I was ready to give up.
Now, I remember the plan. We went to IHOP and we sat down and, you know, everybody's ordering breakfast or whatever. We didn't even touch our meal for at least 2 hours.
It was cold.
But talking about strategy. And one of it was about data relationships between channels, which is, oh, if we create similar content and we're in each other's videos, that's gonna create a data relationship with these other creators that now our videos can be seen by the most powerful engine on YouTube, which is suggestion, right? That's like the most powerful way to do it. And you're able to do that very strategically. Did it work immediately out of the gate, or did it fail for a little bit?
So at that time, we looked and we went, okay, there's a couple things we can do. We had really good friends at that point. but we weren't united. And these friends, they got hit too.
Yeah.
Half of them had lost their channels,
Got it.
lost their income. And we said, here's our idea. Vlogs, everyone's competing with who had the greatest day, who had the best day, who had this, whose day was more epic or crazier thumbnail than the other person's day.
Well, what if we do something where we can create a bigger buzz? We met with a couple of other YouTube families together. Kids would have fun, and we would brainstorm, and we would create a topic that would then all of these other videos would stem after.
And then we'd say, okay, this week, let's do this as a topic. And we would all do it. And then all of these other channels.
So you're starting collaborating with people of saying, okay, we can share our audience, and we started sharing topics.
Yep.
And now, once you did it, you had another channel that was referring traffic to your channel. Very
We
brilliant.
even shared upload times.
Yeah.
So by the time ours
I
finished,
wonder where you got this idea from.
somebody else's video notification would pop up after the 8-minute mark, and then they'd go, oh, I love them too, and click over. So we got to see not only the people that already knew us, what they wanted, a whole different audience, whole different demographic was telling us, hey, we'd like to see this. It was, still is, incredible.
It really does build a good relationship with their viewers who will jump over because they're similar to yours and they just haven't discovered you yet. When we would hang out and they would see us more and more, they became friends with all of us and they became loyal. And that's what you need. You know, you need some good loyal subscribers that will click the moment your video goes live, right?
As you were collaborating, it was kind of a natural progression to get more suggestion.
Yep.
And as the audience get bigger on one end, it gives you more visibility with that audience as well.
That collaboration with the data made all the difference.
And then we also learned some bad ways to collaborate with content that wasn't the same. Maybe we create good content for our channel that fits and for their channel that fits theirs, but because we don't have the same audience, they come over, they watch one video, and then they don't watch again. And then your numbers drop.
All that was telling YouTube was, hey, they're not speaking to their audience anymore. Oh, I forgot about that. That's painful.
All these new people aren't watching.
You're
and
not
now
retaining the new audience that you gained.
You aren't.
If we send over 10,000 people and they watch for 10 seconds, you're toast. It'll take you a long time to recover from that.
Well, and I think that's the whole thing is, oh, if I can only collaborate with this channel or the other, and it does make sense. Like collaboration makes sense in the way of, oh no, we have natural viewer crossover.
Yes.
And luckily now YouTube actually has new tools that tell you, hey, here's a channel you might want to collaborate with because they have the same type of viewers.
Yes.
And those are the types of decisions that you'd probably want to make.
If you can get that shout out from the big channel, no, that'll mess you up.
That right there is something that you didn't know until you saw the data, right?
We had to figure out what we were passionate about, but also passionate about that we could keep doing all the time. For us, the family games. Not everybody's passionate about family games. That's totally fine, because for us, we noticed our viewers noticed when we weren't being real.
When you say family games, you actually started live streaming on Monday night at a set time, and you would invite people to come in during a live stream. Now, why in the world would a vlogger ever try a live stream? Because at that time, it was very awkward to go live on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is gonna be the best idea, because if you're trying to build this daily vlog and weekly vlog or whatever with your family, I don't know if this is the best idea. And she goes, well, if nobody else is doing it, if we don't try, then we don't know.
How do we know? Yeah.
Why did you try something new and something innovative?
I'm always a little bit hesitant when we pivot because I'm like, well, what if it totally bombs? What if it really, really sucks? When you go live, people come on for a minute and they come off. And your view duration and your numbers can be affected by that. I think you told me that they're actually different. Like a live stream and your regular videos, they're in different worlds.
At that time it was, but it's more blended now, but yeah.
We already do like our family night things on Monday, so why not invite people into our home to see the weird things we do?
Yeah. One of the great things about it is you were getting new people to come on because of that live tag that would show up in search and also suggestion.
We went live every single Monday for 2 years. We did not miss a Monday.
Yeah.
And it was about an hour to 2 hours. When Super Chats became available, that actually was a huge revenue maker for us because we were not large at the time. We created these super fans that gave us ideas. They told us what content they wanted to see, and we would watch those comments. And we would go through and be like, okay, this type of game, this type, okay, this. Yeah.
Every day I would reply and read and figure out what they wanted. And when there were so many that were saying the same thing, we go, oh, Our audience wants this.
But there was a constant theme that was happening in those comments, in the game nights, and it was dealing around some future content that you'd make that ultimately became your breakout hit. Like, even though that you thought you had momentum, it really wasn't momentum.
It was nothing compared to what happened next.
Yeah.
I would do these random parody raps at the end of the live stream to people's usernames.
And he will turn the lyrics and he will twist them and he will say silly things.
And one time Clay had sang and people were like, wow, she has an amazing voice. And I was like, what if we did parody music videos? Taylor Swift came out with this crazy song that was super different for her. It was everywhere, and I heard it the first day. And Clay was sitting there talking about some guy she liked at school that she was too nervous to talk to. And the song was on, I was like, oh, my teen crush is at school. And I went,
wow, this is the one, this is the one.
Within 6 days, I wrote it, we recorded it, we shot it, and we put it out to the world.
If this is a really good, funny parody, it's gonna go boom. So I was like, that's when it's gonna happen.
It hit 100 million views. I have a 100 million view video.
That was super cool. We were all freaking out. I had no idea what was going on.
Was that weird for you to, like, now friends kind of look at you differently because you have a video that has a whole bunch of views?
It was hard to differentiate between the real friends and then seeing the people who just wanted to be friends because I was famous.
Right. 100 million view video that you didn't get one dime from it because it's like not monetized. What was the strategy of making money off that momentum?
We sandwiched it. That's what we called it.
And so we created 3 videos about the making and the filming. And then, so we had 3 videos before it that led up to it.
Either talking about having a crush, or we would all share like, oh, our first crush story, and then we would integrate that music video. And then afterwards, we would do behind the scenes of the music video, or we would do a lip sync and kind of change some of the music.
We pinned the comment, did you see this one? And then pinned that one and pinned that one and did another little trick with a playlist that forced everybody to go through the whole thing.
And it worked. The viewers were hooked. They wanted more Teen Crush. Like, they kept asking and asking. And we must have put, honestly, a total of like 10 videos that surrounded this, that you've talked about hero content. And of course, this music video was this hero content. And then we had all this supporting content that made it all grow together.
That first week, we made 20 grand in AdSense just off those videos.
Yeah, I think this is a learning point that I think every YouTuber needs to realize. It's like the first type of content when you upload content to release, YouTube's gonna look at your past library, and that's what it's gonna recommend. And it's gonna see, hey, are people interested in this and that? And that's where that data relationship was. What did that do to your channel? Because
whole channel went.
Yeah.
But we noticed a major drop off in a certain type of video and an uptick in a different type of video. And so we actually transitioned the other types of videos that we made.
You were smart enough to look at the data. You're like, well, we can continue to make content like this and it will perform like it is.
Yeah.
Or we could hit this new segment of market, which is tweenies that really would like that type of content, and they're connecting with your family.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you want to do more of that, right?
Right.
What was the strategy and plan moving forward? I mean, you had massive growth, you had massive subscribers that were coming into it.
We failed massively again, and it's my fault.
Now, before we get into the most powerful lesson of where YouTube mistakes led to success, I need to thank Storyblocks for sponsoring this series. There's a reason why I've been an active customer from Storyblocks since 2012, because of their unlimited stock library that saved me thousands and thousands of dollars. And I'll tell you what, the 4K footage, the templates, the motion backgrounds have really made my projects pop. So head on over to storyblocks.com. You'll find a link below in the description. What was the strategy and plan moving forward? I mean, you had massive growth, you had massive subscribers that were coming into it.
We failed massively again, and it's my fault.
Okay, let's dig into this. I was grateful that you did this. Why did you fail?
All of our other friends, this is the looking over your shoulder, looking over your neighbor's fence, right?
Yeah,
we looked over the stinking fence, and we saw our friends were getting these crazy views. They were making a lot younger age group content. We weren't making as much money because all of our views were from parody music videos. They were making a ton, and they were getting views, and we were like, we should do that. The algorithm, what's gonna go? How's it gonna da, 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 da. We tried to make videos for a computer instead of making videos for people. And we broke our channel.
Why do we want to speak to 5-year-olds? I don't know.
Tens of thousands of people subscribing per day down to about 100.
3 to 4 million views a day to 500,000 views a day. And I said, no, honey, no, it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back. It didn't come back.
It makes you reevaluate. Okay, obviously this pivot was a bad choice and a total failure. And everyone makes them. What can we do now? Instead of going complete teenager or even a little bit older than that, we decided to try and go a little bit in between. So keeping the eyeballs of the younger kids, but also the attention of the teenagers. That was hard. We ended up taking these challenges that were really towards kids and making them a little bit older.
How many videos do you actually put out in a week?
We used to be 18 videos a week.
What?
And now we've scaled to 10. We have our challenge editors that are better at the games and putting that together. And we have our vlog editors, an editor that does a lot of our sit-down stuff. Each kid, when they're done, they bring their cameras in, they toss all the footage into Dropbox, 24, 48 hours, depending on which editor. That's the process
I
there.
love it. Why do you have children that have YouTube channels?
That is a great question, because a lot of people say don't do it.
We could appeal to different audiences with different channels because we have younger kids, we have tweens, we have teenagers. And because we already have an audience who, you know, loves our children, loves all of us, we tried it with our teenager. Her audience spoke really well with our audience, right? They were those teenagers.
So I would just take the camera and pretend like this is like my video, and for my parents to see how I would do with it. Editing, thumbnails, how to shoot a video like by ourselves. We had to learn how to do all of those before we could start our own YouTube channel. I actually didn't get my own personal channel by myself at first. I actually started one with my sister. It was me and Raquel coming up with ideas, and then my parents would kind of help us with that.
She is like fashion, girly stuff. I'm not girly stuff. So me and her started to like clash a little bit, so we decided to separate. We were like the guinea pigs. We would try it out before the little kids.
So our boys have a channel together, and then our little girls have a channel together, and they do well. They do well because they know their audience, because it's them.
So they bring their ideas to us. We go through their ideas with them.
So what I want to do is see if our mom's channel, the Ohana Adventure, is doing well with pool videos. So maybe it'll help us.
And they have their certain amount of time that they can watch YouTube and scroll to see what type of content would work best for them. Because the worst idea would be for me to tell them what type of content they like to watch.
Exactly.
Because they are their own demographics.
Exactly.
They work harder than any kids I've ever met.
Yeah.
And so we try to give them an atmosphere that they can actually have fun and work. Our kids truly do love making content.
I witnessed today one of your daughters working with an editor in frame, leaving comments of how she wants the edit to be when she was showing Rach the thumbnail.
Yeah.
And she says, no, that's not a good thumbnail. Well, is my face not emotional enough?
Yeah.
Is it the lighting bad?
Yeah.
And this is like, well, how is she?
She's
6?
9.
Okay, 9. She's super excited about it, but it doesn't seem like you're cracking the whip to get her to do.
I think the change is in me. As a homeschooler, I've learned to inspire, not require.
Clay is getting 2,000 to 4,000 subscribers a day on her channel that she runs all by herself. She doesn't even come to me with ideas. I have no idea what 16-year-old girls want. Raquel is a couple thousand subscribers a day right now on her channel. Our boys are getting 500 to 1,000 subscribers a day, and it's all their own little businesses. I have no say in what they're doing right now, and so I'm super excited for them.
Like literally the whole family has a play button.
Everyone but me has a play button.
Yeah, what's going on with that? You're at 3.1 million subscribers at the recording of this video. What advice would you give, and how would you give that advice to yourself to navigate YouTube properly?
Look at what does well for you. You just look at what you're doing and which video stands out and does better. What's gonna do better? Do more like that. And that's how you learn your audience. Whether you do it once a week, once a month, or 7 days a week.
But being consistent really has an impact, especially with titles, thumbnails, and lots of people don't really think this, but the description.
It always fluctuates. You're gonna have some great videos that do super well, and then you're gonna have some that don't do as well, but don't let that get you down.
Being consistent is like the key that someone did tell me at the beginning. It probably was you, to be consistent.
I definitely have given you that advice before.
An hour-long line of kids literally down the aisle, so excited to meet us in a Walmart, in a neighborhood we wouldn't normally have been in. And that, for me, helped me take a step back and go, this isn't just a business. we actually are helping these kids see a different type of interaction between a husband and a wife, or a father and a daughter, or a mother and a son.
And we get wonderful moments where we get to see other families spending time together, and it's forced us to spend time together too, even though like it looks in the form of work, but it creates this moment where we go and we laugh. Oh my gosh, do you remember that time that you fell off this and it splattered, and so many wonderful memories that have happened in our life.
We truly feel we have this crew of really awesome humans all over the planet, and you realize how big all of this really is. And it went back to what Rachel wanted to start our channel off in the beginning. Her goal with this was to show people that families, even big families, can have fun.
Family's important. Do something together. Spend some time together, whether it's watching a stupid YouTube video or creating a memory together. Just spend time together.
You've skinned your knee a few times, but you got back up. But more importantly, you listened to who your audience is, and you created content that you're passionate about. And that's where you're able to go from failure to 3.1 million subscribers.
And then probably failure again.
I love that. I am so grateful for the Ohana Adventure that allowed me to come into their home so that you can see success in action. And a big shout out and thanks to Storyblocks for making this series possible. There's two things that I want you to do. Go ahead and put in the comments for that next creator that you want me to shadow, and you can see success in action. And then the next thing is, make sure you check out this video right here where we go inside this space station with Sean Duras and see how he was able to get a multi-million-dollar empire right here on YouTube.